Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
There we go. That's my fault.
There you go.
Carl's not
You had
here.
me panicking there for a while.
Carl's not here.
Yeah,
I'm at a loss.
Well, because you're thinking of Paris.
Yes.
So I leave 6:30 in the morning on Monday, return back home, and I'm looking forward to that. So, but let's start off with, of course, it's Easter time, a very important time for families, and at the same time, a very important time for the churches and, of course, religion. And this is a time that a lot of families get together, have big Easter dinners, hide the eggs. We used to do that so much growing up, and going back to that day, my mom was alive, and I just miss those days. I'm missing it now because I won't come until Monday. I'll be on Monday night, I guess.
Right.
And because I leave here at 6:30 from the hotel, then get a plane from there to Montreal back to Winnipeg, and then, of course, I'll be probably heading out to Ottawa. We're working on our treaty being introduced either the first or second week of April. Oh. And we continue to meet with senators and MPs from all parties and pushing the agenda, educating them of the difference between us and Bill 63, which is inclusive of Ontario. Ontario and Alberta and Saskatchewan got together and try to follow in our footsteps because we're several years ahead of them.
Right.
But they brought in a bunch of new people, of course, and we've been speaking against them, and so is the First Nations of Canada. So it's been really one that is struggling to try to because it's a lie, because it's not real, because they're not the Red River Métis, because they're fake. It's been a hard time for them to try to misrepresent, which they've been doing. They're clever at it, and especially Ontario, and they disguise the people. But what just recently happened in Alberta, MNA, in the same agreement, they signed together, all three of them, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Ontario signed a self-government agreement we signed in 2021, the MMF, Red River Métis, and ours has never been challenged. But we did a lot of work in ours. We did consultation after consultation. Thousands and thousands of people were dialogued with and educated about what this is all about. And so really, the opposition to our treaty is and our self-government was nil. And if there's any, it's very quiet. Because why would somebody speak against River Métis who brought Manitoba Confederation and ensured also that treaties came into power in Canada, in Western Canada? So it was Riel who did all that work, and he paid the ultimate price, his life. And we paid, of course, ultimate price as people. And we suffered greatly, still suffer greatly because of that. So, but Alberta was challenged by the settlement and also by the Fort Mackay and the other communities of the north who do not belong to the Métis Nation of Alberta anymore. And I believe Lethbridge pulled out of the Métis Nation of Alberta. And a lot of that has to do with the fake claim of these new people that are coming in, as I said, by the tens of thousands in the future, hundreds of thousands coming in from the east to claim our Métis identity and go after our Métis resources. Alberta lost the case. They're telling the minister right now, they're telling the minister that they should, the judge said that they have to redo certain sections of their agreement because Alberta took the position that they represent everybody in Alberta, no matter if they like it or not, basically, position. Mm-hmm. And, of course, we would never do that. It's up to the people. Democracy stands. If the people want you to represent them, they'll ask you. And they'll want you to represent them. So Alberta took a different approach and said, I'm representing you if you live in Alberta, whether you like it or not. And, of course, settlements did not take kindly to that, nor did the Fort Mackay and the remaining northern Métis villages. And so they said, no, you're not representing us. We never give you authority, nor do you have any jurisdiction to represent us. So they just won that case, the settlement from Fort Mackay. They beat Alberta. And so that 53 is in bigger trouble now.
Right.
Not only do they have stolen people and stolen identity, they also have people, Métis citizens, that have laid claim. Let me tell a little bit of the history so people understand Alberta, because when President Patra was still there, she actually removed some of her Métis citizens from the electoral list, from the list of the citizens, because they ran against her, and they end up removing those two of them, Boucher and Gladue. They moved them and stopped them from actually ever running again for 5 years. could not participate or be involved. And they, of course, fought vigorously that this is absolutely undemocratic, and they went to court. But what happened when Alberta did this, when they went to court, they actually argued in a courtroom that they're a co-op. They're their own group. That they can decide who belongs to their co-op, who belongs to their group, that they're not representative of anybody but the members on their list. And that's what they argued in court, and they lost. And they won the case that they can decide who belongs to their club. They call themselves a club. And they argued that if they decide that Boucher, who was arch speaker against Alberta, president, that they can remove them because they're a club. And a few years later, they say they're self-government. They speak on behalf of everybody. And that's why they threw people out of their club. So it is beyond me. How can they go before the city people, claim that they're a government, but then go to court to argue they're a club to win a case against Métis people? These are real Métis people. I think Bellagio has since taken Bill C-31 because he got so disappointed that this could happen to a Métis citizen in the MNA. But Boucher, I believe, still is a Métis citizen. But truly, that's the history that comes along now. It's haunting them now. So now they're claiming they won't represent anybody. And as I said, the court just ruled against them. So Bill 53 is in big, big trouble. And it was in big trouble right from the get-go when the First Nations spoke against it, and we did. And that's why the people told me to leave MN and MNC and said we cannot belong to a pan-Aboriginal organization that does not truly represent the Métis people. So in our agreement, it states that, for example, if a Métis citizen in Alberta is living there of the Red River and can prove their historical connection, they can definitely self-declare and ask to be part of our. We cannot deny them, but I can't go tell them I represent you. I don't care if you're in our electoral list or not. I have no jurisdiction to do that. Not in democracy anyway. But that's what Alberta did, completely opposite of how we did our self-government agreement. So they've lost that argument now, and that's gone. And so it's going to be quite a hardship for them to move forward and try to get their position defended now that the court has ruled that the government has got to change the way they wrote that agreement. So there's a lot at stake. And unfortunately, you can only bully so much, and you're not going to get away with it. And that's the sad part, So, but I think some of the things we need to look at, other stuff, forget them for a while because we want to keep on fighting them. But when you look at other stuff that's happening, I was reading some of the articles coming out of Manitoba where the opposition party, Pierre, met with the Wampanoag premier, and he talked about getting rid of the carbon rebate and at the same time getting rid of the carbon pricing. Now, we speak, of course, our Métis government put a resolution over 2 weeks ago where we all unanimously stated we want to continue supporting carbon pricing. We also want to continue supporting the rebates because those rebates are in the hundreds of millions of dollars that Manitobans will get. And the majority of the people that will be using that is the poor, the working poor, the lower middle class, the middle class, and even the upper middle class. The rich won't be benefiting from it for sure, but we will. And we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars that will be lost if this thing dies.
Wow.
And I'm hoping that Premier Canoe will not fall into the trap. This is all about politics right now. If you look at what's going on in Canada, because there is no other action plan when it comes to the environment. And if we don't have an action plan, look at the floods that have happened to our people, and they affect the First Nations and other people overall. Look at the droughts of farmers. Look at the forest fires in the north. Look at all these things that the environment is starting to warn us and do to us. And here we are saying, well, let's just get rid of it and argue on the premise that the food prices are going up because of carbon pricing or carbon tax. Everybody's carbon prices, which is not true. The price and the economies changed after COVID and changed everything. And there's some greedy companies out there trying to make more money than they should be making. So, but it has nothing to do with the carbon rebate, which is essential to us. And in Manitoba, that's like $1,200 a year for every family of four. And you take that away from them, that's a lot of money to really hit them with. And in total, I think it's about 400 and something million dollars. So we're talking some massive numbers that we will lose. And I hope WAB does not get caught in that platform because right now the argument is trying to use the carbon, which they call carbon tax, the opposition, but it's called carbon pricing, to charge the big oil companies and all the big industries that are polluting the air and affecting all of us, that they got to pay a higher price, or they got to change their equipment. And that's kind of the push that this thing's all about. And then, of course, the government said, we're not trying to make money here, so all of the money we collect, we're giving it back to the people that need it most. So that's, of course, the Ford are working for. And, of course, all Indigenous people will be getting a check. But that'll be gone if we ever get Canada to quit collecting. You see Saskatchewan, the premier said, I'm not collecting that he called it a tax, the carbon pricing anymore, he said. So the Prime Minister and, of course, the Minister said, then we can't give rebates if you're not collecting the tax, which you have very literally by law got to be doing. But if you don't do it, then we're not going to give a check to the people in Saskatchewan. Every family is going to lose the check. The rich may not give a care about it, but a lot of our people will give a care because it has such a direct effect to them. So I'm quite concerned that's happening, and I hope, as I said, I read that Rob and the opposition leader had a good meeting, according to the reading I read, but clearly, and it was about this whole issue of carbon, and I hope that Premier Rob Pinot will not say, get rid of it now, stop the carbon pricing, and stop the rebates, because if that happens, it's going to hit Manitobans hard, very, very hard. And I think we got to be telling our Premier, don't do it. Keep on supporting that. We got to protect the environment. We've got to do our part. And if this is the only thing we have in Canada right now, we can't just start canceling it. So unless there's another program out there, right now we know there's none. No other party, including all those premiers that are speaking against it, have come up with a plan. They don't have a plan. So they're saying, let's just stop it right now, and we'll deal with it again in the future. And if we do that, the risk is so great, the impact to the Mother Earth is going to be so hard, and the price we will pay, and so mostly our grandkids and kids will pay the greater price of all. And that's the scary part. If we leave that inheritance to our children, we have failed them miserably, and we're going to get what we believe is the worst thing that we could ever have done to our children. And look at the waters already. We can't drink water from the lakes. Just imagine if this continues, the temperature keeps on coming at a higher rate, it's going to cause massive effects. So when I was reading that out here, I was so worried about it. I just thought, holy man, that's why I'm eager to go home. I want to get home, and I'm going to try to reach out to Rob and say, Rob, don't do it. Stay with what we have. That's all we have in this country, and we need to make sure those rebates keep on coming to our families. So let's make sure that gets out there, and I'm sure First Nations are doing the same thing, telling the Premier, do not stop the carbon rebates. Though this is the only environmental plan that exists in Canada, we need to keep on doing it. We need to make sure big industry does their part too. So aside from that, as I said, it's happy Easter for everyone. And there's, of course, many out there, kids are looking forward to Easter egg or two, something they can find in the yard. We used to hide them all over the place. My mom used to look out the window, so Tim sit outside and watch the kids as they scramble. And I'd hide $50 bill for the older kids and then $20 for the younger kids. And then, of course, Easter eggs everywhere. And my godchildren would come, and different family members would come, and they would be all over the big yard searching every nook and cranny to get their eggs and their little baskets. It was such a great treat. I'm sure they're going to be doing that in Duck Bay, and I look forward to many families continue that practice so their kids get excited. And, of course, I said for religious time, I seen that the Archbishop was in the university, and they were carrying the cross, and there was about 2,000 university students involved, and I kudos to all of them. And I always say, what I believe in something, and believing in God is not going to hurt you at all. It's actually going to help you. And this is a holy time of course, the Catholics and other religions in Canada and the world. So, but let me say some birthdays first. I want to get that out of my way so I can talk a little bit more business before I say goodbye.
Okay.
Happy birthdays going out to Desiree Orvis. We're celebrating her birthday. Am I coming out clear? Because it's really noisy here.
No, you're coming in clear. Yeah.
Okay, good. We're celebrating her 20th birthday tomorrow on Saturday, March 30th. Happy birthday to Cowboy Carl Thomas, who's celebrating his birthday on Monday, April Fool's. They must have really given him a hard time when he was a kid, huh?
I know,
April
right?
Fool's lady. Like my daughter is born on Halloween, huh? People used to call her a witch. And so she was born on October 31. Happy birthday going to Brian Lamran, Indy Campbell's brother, who was celebrating on Tuesday, April 2nd. He just missed April Fool, that one. Happy birthday, Brian. Happy birthday is going to Solomon Pronto. He's mining Mr. Mark Pronto's father, and he's celebrating his 77th birthday on April 4th. Of course, what's so important about that, Solomon always promised me getting a muskrat this year already. He'll give me a few muskrats. I can have a nice dinner. And, of course, he said, I'll bring you some fish, as I always do from the north. So thank you again, Solomon. Happy birthday. And also want to say, this is coming out from Tracy and her family, to please wish my mom, Tanis, and my sister, Christy, happy birthday. Happy birthday to both of them. And the cinnamon buns, Tanis always makes me good cinnamon buns when I come to Cranberry. I just love them. So, but again, as I said, there's also one condolence. I'm not sure if you played the gospel tune yet. If you did one, maybe the second one if you can. It's condolences going out to John Lemire, the MMF director of HR, and his family on the loss of his cousin Roger LeBleu, who started his journey on his new home on March 24th. So condolences go out to Norma, his wife of 50 years, and his daughters and extended family. So again, to John Lemire and the family for loss of Roger LeBleu. Now, one of the things that you probably read or heard in the news, of course, the press releases out on the settlement of the CSA, and I want to again commend our lawyers who worked on this file, and it is something that's so important to us, and of course that goes with saying first the minister, of course, one of yours, and the rest of the team, Greg and all the team members. I definitely want to thank our representatives on the plaintiffs, which is Mary Derndorf and Renee Lafontaine. So I want to thank them for representing us with their names attached to the plaintiff on behalf of all children in care that lost their child allowance money. Mm-hmm. So thank you again. I had a meeting with them 2 days ago, and we had a very good meeting. We had a meeting for about half an hour, and I was actually touring at the time, and I took some time off to make sure it's part of a meeting regarding the CSA. I think we go to board a judge very soon, and I think people have 2 months to opt out. I think I'm not giving the exact. I want to give next Saturday. I'll give the exact date, and children have a time to opt out if they want to and go for their own claim different way. But in the meantime, this claim will definitely represent all of the children that were in our care, and the total for our settlement, I think, is $84.6 million. So that's a massive amount of resources, and the children will get their CSA, and they'll at the same time get all of their 2.2% interest, and so that's something very important to recognize.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for that to happen. I truly can't wait. This is something we've been waiting for a long time. I think ours is much smaller, of course, in the First Nations. But some of the things I'm proud of with ours, our costs were very low. Our lawyer costs are just over $1 million. So that we kept that very low. And this way to make sure. And then also our administration costs, we're trying to keep it as low as possible because we got to hire people that'll actually have to seek and find these kids. Because some of them may not be in Manitoba anymore. Some of them moved out somewhere else. Some of them passed on maybe. And so we got a lot of work to do now. But the ones in care will create bank accounts and investment for them when they walk out of there when they're 18. And the ones that are past 18 will have financial officers to sit down with them, help them open bank accounts, set the stage for them. Because some of them will be decent-sized jets, like I said, be over 40,000, some be over 50,000. So right. When you start looking at that number, that's a massive number. So we don't want somebody to have go to the bank, cash a check, and walk around with 50,000 in their back pocket and get robbed. So we're going to sit down with them, tell them, look, this is how you can put your money. We hope you have a bank account. But again, we got to find them. We got to do a lot of advertising, and lots of this will be happening in the Métis Hour website. When you listen to us at NCI, you'll be hearing updates on where and where you can pick up the checks. Checks will be coming out tomorrow. I know people are calling already. It'll actually be. We have to wait I think it's 2 months for a judge to finalize the document. And then, but you'll start to see some kind of information flowing out. But if you're a child in care between 2005 and 2019, and in our agencies, call the agency's office. Make sure just leave your name there. Don't ask your names on the list yet. Just make sure you leave your name, and they'll keep a record. Right now we're creating a department for that. So when I get home, I'll be working on. And Mona, of course, work on it already. But I'll be making sure that when kids call in, and we can track them down, find out how long they're in care, how much of their child allowance money was taken from them, when what month to what time frame. Is it by years or is it by month? Is it only 3 months? Is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? Of course, the records will show that. So again, it's a big win for for everything. I think the settlement was $530 million. And as I said, Métis Child and Family Services, our share will be $84,600,000. So with that being said, I just look forward to what's going to happen to that. And again, I think Latsis Sullivan and Lessis, of course, they have these hard names I can't pronounce. Gottlieb, that's from Toronto. That's Rahul Agarwal and Nick Olmberg is that they're part of that firm. And Rahul did a superb job on our behalf. I want to thank him personally. And of course, I can't say without telling our lawyer, Mary Trachtenberg, was always watching to make these federations back and our peoples back. And of course, our future, our ongoing future, Genevieve Benoit, a Métis lawyer, and her dad is my chief of staff.
Yeah.
And I remember walking around in our meetings with her crayon, and now she's a lawyer representing us on big cases like this.
She used to come and co-host every Saturday, too, remember? She used to come co-host. She was on the radio every Saturday, too.
I know. So, and now she's a lawyer representing us. Also, I want to give a quick snap. There's a Conservation Trust Fund stickers. Make sure you get them for April 2024 to 2025, starting April 1st. Make sure all harvester cards, you get your stickers. And we're also looking at, there's a new update that's been given from Natural Resources Manitoba, and it's wrong. It does recognize the harvester card and all the rest of it, but it's wrong on certain policies inside of it. So we'll be sitting down with the province to try to correct that. So I look forward to that being done. But I do give kudos to the government come to terms. But again, they're wrong on the map itself. Our rights span all the way to Churchill without a question. We can prove that in any court case in Manitoba. We have the history, we have the research, we have all of that ready. And so, but what we want to do and what I'm trying hard to do, and I keep on opening my handshake to the First Nations, that we sit down amongst ourselves. There's 64 chiefs and there's only one president, but I represent all the Métis people in Manitoba based on the Constitution. So when you sit down with us, I want to sit down and set the rules of how we co-share and coexist for the future of natural resources. I think we need to have a plan because, like I said, environment is getting harder for our animals, and it's going to continue to be a lot of pressure points, and we need to work together to preserve the future for generations that they too can enjoy the opportunity of going out and practicing hunting or fishing. But if we don't work together, we could put this all in jeopardy. So I'm reaching out again to all the chiefs. The MMF government wants to sit down. We want to work with you, and we want to make sure that we can plan the future together. That we're smart enough. We're governments. Let's operate like governments and let's sit down. The other one, of course, tomorrow is Sunday, March 31st, is National Day for Indigenous Languages in Canada. The CHIP being ours, and of course our Minister Andrew Carrier's got a plan out already, and how they're structuring, ensuring that the Michif language is preserved and protected. A lot of that will also be through our child care centers that we're opening, as you heard me say on Francis Chartrand, the minister on that one. And that one, we're opening 16 daycare centers, child care centers in Manitoba, which will amount to about 1,000 kids in care. And at the same time, we're going to bring curriculum in there that really begins to really teach the history as a child to the Métis of who they should be proud of their ancestors and be proud. All Manitobans should be proud of what the Riel and the Métis people have done to create the province and protect the people in Manitoba and Western Canada. Of course, I speak Saulteaux, others speak Cree. We're multilingual. Some of our people speak French, but there's only one Métis nation of the Red River. I don't like that when somebody says I'm a French Métis or I'm a Saulteaux Métis. You're not. You're a Saulteaux-speaking Métis. You're a French-speaking Métis, but you're not a French Métis or a Saulteaux Métis or Cree Métis. So You're just one. There's only one River Métis nation. You may speak the language like I speak Saulteaux fluently. So, again, but let's not forget languages are important. We need to protect them. We need to work hard, and I think our minister has a good plan, and you'll be pushing that agenda across the province and making clear that everybody's on board and knowing what's going on. So, again, I want to thank everybody back home. I can't wait. I'm still working, of course, when I'm out here, but it's not the same when you're in your office.
Right.
And being there in a forefront and seeing everything that's going on and hearing everything, especially all the stuff that's happening. There's big stuff happening right now. And I'll be, as I said, probably taking off to Ottawa as soon as I return. And that's something I will be really spending a lot of time on, making sure that we get this treaty done in time. We need to get this treaty passed as soon as possible so we can start working on our land claim. That's up for negotiation discussion right now, and I can't wait when that day comes. It'll change the history of our people forever. I think by that time I'll say to myself, I've accomplished probably the greatest things I want to accomplish as a leader. And the day will come when I say, maybe it's time I be an advisor or something and let somebody else lead. And so those days might be coming sooner than you think. I know I'm still healthy, good enough to work, and I still got 2 years in my term. And I still believe I will have the strength in 4 years' time. And but let's worry about that in 2 years. But right now, I know what I'll do for the next 2 years, and I want to finish off a lot of these things that are so important to my people. And again, I want to make sure our kids, their education is taken care of. I want to make sure that our children, for example, in childcare, when Bill 92 comes down, we write the law. As I said, you will never see permanent, again, worship taken away from our children, placed in non-Indigenous homes, non-Métis homes, and placed away from our families. That ain't going to happen under our child family service laws that we're writing right now. So, again, kudos to all of our people in our offices that are working hard. And, of course, the Infinity Women have asked me to run the ship while I'm gone. And so she's taking good care of that, along with Denise Thomas. And really, at the end of the day, my team says they miss me. They want me to come home. So I'm looking forward to heading that way and being part of the decision-making that we have to do. So, again, kudos to everybody, and we'll keep you posted. There's a conference coming up in May on this identity theft. We're working with the Métis Nation of First Nations in Ontario, and also other First Nations who are coming, and also the Inuit are coming potentially to speak at this identity conference, where we have to stand together and stop these teens from stealing their identity. So, with that being said, Naomi, I'll take care. I hope I came out loud and clear.
You did.
Good. I'm just first time I'm trying. No, second time trying these headphones. These little things you shove in the ear, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it sounds different, but and it's noisier. So if I'm coming clear, I'm very happy with that. Again, to all the elders, thank you very much for all the guidance you give me. As I said, tomorrow I'll be praying for my people back home, and I'll find a beautiful church here, which Notre Dame is still closed, and so I can't go there. I'll go somewhere else.
Right.
And but there's such beautiful churches here. I'm going to go and be sure my door and maybe go out and pray tomorrow and pray for my people back home. So with that being said, I'll talk to you guys next week. I might be in Ottawa or I might be home.
Okay. We'll track you down.
Track me down, Cowboy. Yeah, I bought Cowboy a little. I promised Cowboy a little gift, so I bought him a little gift already.
Aw, that's sweet. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
What's your name, David?
Oh, is that Ollie?
Hi.
Hi. You're on the show too today.
No, well, Cowboy, he's gone home for the weekend, so they asked me to fill in for him.
Ontario. Yes, you told me he's going to Ontario.
Yeah.
Well, why aren't you playing one of your songs? Like, was it one of Patsy Cline's song, one of my faves? I can listen to it.
Okay, and you and your granddaughter have a great trip and enjoy. And we want to know if you went to the Arc de Triomphe. Is that it?
Arc de Triomphe. Yeah.
Yes, we were there. I went to Eiffel Tower, and I'll tell you what my baby said to me, Papa. I'm so happy you always keep your promises. Remember, I promised this when she was 12 years old.
Yeah.
When you turn 16, I'm going to take you to Paris. So
very nice.
She said, Papa, I'm so proud. You always keep your promises. My word. My word means everything to me. Okay, I'll talk to you guys next Saturday, and keep on being proud, Métis, and Reverend Métis. We're proud people, and we always will be. And let no one ever take that from us. Okay?
For sure.
And yes, Lisa, I bought you something already. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.